Hello students, we were discussing about the liquid dosage forms. So let us continue with the topic. So today's first topic is gargles. So gargles are the aqueous solutions which are used for the treatment of throat infections, uh, for the infection of nasopharynx and pharynx. So they are supplied in the concentrated forms with directions of dilutions with warm water before use. Also, the gargles are used in the posterior region of the mouth cavity by agitating the solution with the expired air. So these are remain there for few moments, after which they are thrown out of the mouth. They are also supplied in a clear fluted bottles. This is just because due to distinguish them with the preparations which are made for the internal administration. Also, students, the container in which gargles are stored, it must be airtight and light resistant. So there must be label put on the bottle which would have be the directions like for external use only, dilution ratio with warm water, and all other requirements which are required for the liquid doses forms except the dose column. So it is most important point except the dose column. So this was all about the gargles. Next is mouth washes. In case of mouth washes, they are aqueous liquid preparations which are used for rinsing, deodorant, refreshing, or antiseptic action on the front portion of the mouth cavity. So it should be pleasant in taste and odor. So usually they are supplied in a concentrated form in a clear fluted container. So label should be a directions like dilution ratio with warm water for external use only, and all other necessary requirements of liquid dosage form except the dose column. So this was all about the mouthwashes. Next we have is throat paints. So what are the throat paints? The throat paints are viscous liquids. They are the viscous liquid preparations which are used for mouth and infections of the throat. So, so students, do you know what is the most commonly employed vehicle used in a throat paint? Do you have any idea? It is glycerin. So, in an exam question may come as why glycerin is employed as a most commonly used vehicle in the throat paints. The answer could be it is because of its viscous nature and sweet agreeable taste. They are made viscous, the throat paints are made viscous so that the drug should remain in contact with the mucous membrane for long time. If they are more diluted, it could not remain in contact with the mucous membrane as it may pass into the GIT tract. So this is why the throat paints are supplied in airtight colored fruit bottles in order to distinguish them from preparations made for internal use. So the application of paint on the affected part is made with the help of camel brush or by cotton plug twisted at the tip of wooden slim stick. So they are applied as such without dilution. So labels on the bottle must be directions like for external use only, apply with camel brush, and all other necessary requirements of liquid dosage forms except the dose column. So next we have is nasal drops and sprays. So nasal drops are aqueous preparations of drugs that are instilled into the nostrils. So oils are not preferred as a vehicle in nasal preparations because oily drops inhibit movement of cilia in the nasal mucosa and may cause lipoidal pneumonia. So installation of nasal drops is achieved by using a dropper. So the conventional amber colored glass bottle with a medicine dropper top should be used for drop medication. So nasal sprays are the same preparations as nasal drops but instilled in the nostrils in the form of fine mist with the help of atomizer or a spray package like a nebulizer, which produce a very fine mist of drug solution so as to reach into the respiratory tract. So label on the container must be a directions like for external use only, for the use only in the nose, and number of drops to be instilled at a time. So it should also contain all other necessary requirements of liquid dosage form. So next we have Dutches. Dutches are aqueous solutions used to cleanse, deodorize, soothe or medicate wounds, body orifices or cavities after applying them with low pressure. So the word Dutch is most commonly used for vaginal solution. So they are also supplied in the form of powders or tablet with the directions for dissolving them in a specified quantity of warm water. Usually they are concentrated solutions and are supplied and patients are required to dilute it accordingly before use. So the vaginal Dutches must be sterile if used after childbirth of any surgery of vaginal region. So they are introduced by means of a suitable rubber syringe with a specially designed nozzle. So they are supplied in a narrow mouthed glass fluted bottle to distinguish them with the preparations meant for internal use. So powders or tables might be supplied in suitable boxes of plastic or in the form of strips of aluminum foil. So labels on the containers must be directions like for external use only and dilution ratio with warm water, quantity of powder or number of tablets to be dissolved in a specified quantity of water along with other necessary requirements of liquids and solid dosage forms. So next is enemas. So enemas are solutions of suspensions intended for introduction in the rectum or colon to cause evacuation or to bring about a local or systemic therapeutic action. So sometimes they are used for diagnostic purpose, that is X-ray examination of the lower bowel. Patient require pharmacist help to take such type of medications. So the enemas are mainly classified on the basis of their uses. First one is cleansing or evacuating enemas. So the water used for cleansing or evacuating enemas are tap water, weak soap suds, and saline. Next we have is carminated enemas. Example of carminating enemas is milk and molasses, turpentine, and soap suds or olive oil. Next we have is attention enemas. So the substances which are used for the attention enemas are the chlorohydrate, paraldehyde, warm oil, starch and water. And next we have is lubricating enemas which are vegetable oil and mineral oil. Next is medical enemas which have sodium dihydrogen phosphate, sodium phosphate and dialkyl sodium sulfosuccinate. So usually volume of 500 ml to 1000 ml of enema solution is introduced depending on the age and condition of the patient. So before administration, it should be warmed up to body temperature if the volume is large. So however, small volume of 100 ml to 200 ml can be introduced as such. So they are supplied or packed in a color-fluted bottles or in single-use plastic containers fitted with the rectal nozzle, which should be lubricated before the content of the bottle is administered. So labels on the bottle must be directions like for external use only, lubricate the nozzle before administration and warm the solution up to 37 degrees centigrade. The solution is warmed only when the volume is large. So along with all other necessary requirements of liquid dosage form for external use. Next we have eye drops. So eye drops are sterile, aqueous or oily solutions for instillation into the eye. So they are used for the localized action of the drugs on the surface of the eye or in its interior part. So eye drops must have the following characteristic. It should be sterile, it should be stable, it should be free from foreign particles. The pH should be about 7.4, which is a pH of lacrimal secretion, and it should be isotonic with lacrimal secretion. So eye drops are supplied in small volumes, not more than 15 ml, so as to avoid repeated use of the same preparation for a long time. So they are supplied in glass or plastic bottles with either a separate dropper or built-in dropper. So label must be directions like for external use only. Do not touch the dropper with the eye. Avoid contamination during use and discard after 1 month of opening the container along with other necessary requirements of liquid dosage forms for external use. Next point is eye lotions. So the eye lotions are the sterile aqueous solutions used for irrigating or washing the eye. Also, they do not contain any bactericide if used for first aid purpose over a period of 24 hours. Also, they may be aqueous solutions containing bactericide for intermittent use up to 7 days. So, they are generally used to remove foreign substances from the eye with the help of clean eye bath or sterile fabric dressing or by following a large volume of solution quickly over the eye. So they are supplied in concentrated form and are required to be diluted with equal volume of sterile warm water immediately before use. So they should be isotonic and free from foreign particles to avoid irritation to the eye. So they are supplied in glass or plastic fluted airtight containers. So label must be directions like for external use only. Dilute the solutions with equal volume of sterile warm water. Discard after 24 hours of opening the container. If sterile solution and after 7 days of opening the container, if solution is containing bactericide, so it must contain in short method of using the lotion. Next we have is eardrops. So eardrops are medicated solutions to be instilled into the ear with the help of a dropper. So eardrops are used for cleaning and for treating the infections. So cleaning of the ear is required before because of earwax is deposited in the ear. So earwax, which is a mixture of the secretions of the subcutaneous and cereminous glands, which get accumulated and block the canal. So they are supplied in small volume bottles with either a separate dropper or built-in dropper. So nowadays, eye drops and ear drops preparations are manufactured commonly if it requires the same type of therapeutic action. And one thing should be remembered that ear drops alone cannot be used as eye drops, while eye drops alone can be used as ear drops. So labels on the bottle must be directions like for external use only, along with other necessary requirements of liquid dosage form for external use. Next we have is inhalations. So they are the liquid solutions or suspensions preparations consisting of volatile substances. So they are used to relieve congestion and inflammation of the respiratory tract. So the inhalation may be inhaled from handkerchief or absorbent pan, or they may be added to the hot water. The temperature of hot water should be around 60 to 65 degrees centigrade, and the vapor is inhaled for a few minutes for the period of 5 to 10 minutes maximum. So they are supplied in a fluted glass bottle which should be airtight. So labels on the bottle must be directions like for external use only, stored in a cool place, for nasal inhalation, and the quantity required to be added in hot water. So they should also possess the necessary requirements of liquid dosage forms for external use. Next we have is aerosols. So the aerosols are the liquid preparations include solutions, colloidal solutions, suspensions packaged in a pressurized containers. The drug is dissolved in a solvent or suspended in a propellant. The latter is a liquefied gas that vaporizes when the valve is opened. So medicament is discharged in the form of mist or very fine globules. So the dose is controlled by using metered valve device in case of potent drug which is used in asthma. Next, the patients are warned about the danger of using excessive dose than prescribed. So they are used for both orally and topically. Oral aerosols have been used for the symptomatic treatment of asthma as well as for the treatment of migraine headache, while topical aerosols have been used to treat dermatological manifestations. Also, they are supplied in a special assembly called aerosol containers. So the label must be directions like for oral use or for topical use, and avoid inhaling in case of product not to be inhaled. So keep away from eyes or other mucous membranes, contents under pressure, and do not puncture or incinerate container. So do not expose to heat or store at temperature above 49 degrees centigrade. So keep out of reach of children. Other necessary requirements of liquid forms are also depicted on the labels. So last we have is parenteral solution. Though so these solutions are the sterile drug solutions which are intended for administration by injection under or through one or more layers of skin or mucous membrane. So they are to be introduced into the internal body compartment. So one has to very careful about their sterility, isotonicity and clarity. So they must possess absolute properties of parenterals. So they are supplied in a container from 1 ml ampule, 1 ml ampule to 500 ml infusion bottle depending on the requirements. So the label must be all necessary directions of liquid dosage forms for internal use in the addition to the route of administration, which might be either intramuscular, intravenous. So these must be depicted clearly on the label with the dose to be administered anytime. So multi-dose container is used. So parenteral solution require persons like doctor, compounder, or trained nurses for their administration. They are not to be administered by patient themselves. So to administer the dose, a device called syringe with hypodermic needle is required, which should be either sterilized, disposable, or it must be sterilized before being used. So nowadays it is advisable to use disposable syringe to avoid infection of fatal disease like AIDS. So instead of doctor, patient must be aware of the seriousness of non-sterile syringes. So he must confirm from person administering the dose that whether syringes is sterilized or not. So better patient must carry their own sterile syringe to avoid any such cross infection. So student, that is all for the day. In the next lecture, we will start about the or we will discuss about the problems in the formation of monophasic liquids.